Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let me clean the lens here. It looks like it's a little foggy. One moment, please. I guess that's better. Is it? Not much difference, huh? Let's see. Well, maybe it's my glasses. One way or another, we'll get this fixed. All right. So let's start again. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. All right. Who we have here? We have three people that they're all the same person. So we have one. It's Thomas Joseph says, so when I look at my parents or an image, the memory of the intrusive thoughts shows up. So how do I get over that? So what? I mean, don't you walk in the street and see some dog shit there? So what do you want to do with it? Are you supposed to correct everything that is wrong in the world? We like to, but we can't. We don't have that resources. We don't have that time. Brain makes 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, all intrusive. None of them have anything to do with you. You did not ask it, initiate it, instigate it for it to be made. Brain does that. So what do you want to do? For every one of these 80, 90,000, you want to go in there, so why they're there? They shouldn't be there. The way you deal with these things is that you accept thoughts, images, suggestions can be there. Just like you accept, because you have no choice in the outside world, when you walk in the street, you can see a dog shit on the street. You can see garbage over there. You can see people saying things, uttering things that is not in line with your values, or doing things that is not in line with your values, or they're interested in certain food that you don't like, certain activities, certain sports, whatever. There's so many things that you are not interested in, but they yet exist in the world. And you have accepted the fact that they can exist. They don't need to be part of your life. You don't want them to be part of your life, but you accept the fact that they exist. But you navigate your own way toward the destination and the pathways that you are interested in, where you want to go, how you want to negotiate that road to somewhere that you intend to go. Same thing with the thoughts and images and suggestions of the brain. When it shows up, what does it have to do with me? Your problem is that you think because it shows up in the screen of my head, and my head is on top of me. Therefore, the screen is part of the apparatus of the brain, and it's happening, the screen, the image, where it belongs to me as far as the real estate is concerned. Then you think it's got to do with you. Because it's using the screen of your brain and you can see it, you take the responsibility for it, that as if it has anything to do with you, as if it pertains you. It doesn't. Your problem is that you have not come to understanding that the brain is separate than you. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. Brain has its own functions and malfunctions, and your awareness is the one who actually chooses or vetoes all these what's available outside or inside our heads. So just like you have dealt with the outside world, you also accept thoughts and images and bullshits can exist. Brain does that. Okay. Brain is no different than the next person out in the street that has no connection to you and is a separate entity. Brain is also a separate system, happen to be mounted on your head. But it is not you. It can do its own shit. It can malfunction and create garbage and images, so on, unrelated to you, and you have no interest in them. So just like all the other things that you're not interested that exist in the outside world, in the streets and other cities and towns or wherever you go, you also allow thoughts to exist, images to exist. Instead of trying to vanish them and destroy them and burn them and bomb them, and it shouldn't be there. It means disrespect to my parents, or no. There could be images that you're fucking your father, your father's fucking you, or whatever else. These are not a responsibility of yours. These are the glitches of the brain. As we have discussed many times before, there's a mechanism in the brain to stop intrusive thoughts. In striatum, midbrain, basal ganglia, the lever is called caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus's job is to shut down the intrusive thoughts as they appear. Because the wisdom of whatever created us and placed this amazing apparatus of the brain to assist us in what we want to capture in life and bring to fruition or advance ourselves, also had the wisdom to know that this brain is going to malfunction because our brain is a work in progress. We didn't have this brain 40,000 years ago, but we did exist way before the 40,000 years. So for millions of years we existed. Only 40,000 years ago, this apparatus of the brain, the way it seems today, was added to us. And it's still being developed, and it still has glitches. The wisdom of the creator, whatever it is in your mind, allowed a mechanism to be part of this brain to counter the glitches and to counter the malfunctions. In this particular case, is called a lever called caudate nucleus in the striatum in midbrain basal ganglia. Its job is to shut down intrusive thoughts because brain makes all kinds of thoughts and it doesn't know what it makes because brain is not your intelligence. With the experiments that the neuroscientists and neurosurgeons such as Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield of Montreal in 1960s or 70s or earlier maybe, I'm not sure of the date, they operated over thousands of different times on brain, and they could never localize an intelligence center in the brain. They could localize motoring system, like they could stimulate part of the brain and a limb would move, They could stimulate the occipital point in the back of the head, and the eye would see maybe a sight or a light. They could stimulate somewhere that the speech would be stimulated. They could localize speech center. They could localize sight center. They could localize motoring center. But they could never localize passion center, compassion center, consciousness center, political center, mathematics center, love center. They could not localize anything of that. So gender center. Hmm? So what it is that brain is oblivious to your gender or these and that, so forth. So when these images show up, it's not a message. It's just a fucked up, malfunctioning brain. That's all there is. And the wisdom of the creator was that there is going to be malfunction while this brain maybe someday eventually progresses and becomes a lesser glitching apparatus. Until then, he or she, we got to be very, very politically correct about the creator, he or she decided to put a lever to shut down the intrusive thoughts that is not in line with your values. And it is obvious what your center is, what your values are, what your gender is, what your inclination is, what your life policies and preferences are. And caudate nucleus, when a type of a thought that is not in line with your values shows up, you go, "Ooh, that's nasty," and then shuts it down, and then it disappears. In OCD brains, this shutdown doesn't take place as it used to, and it always did. So the thought or the image or suggestion, when it's not shut down by this particular apparatus or mechanism, it hovers. When it hovers, you think, well, it must be a reason that it hovers. You don't think that there's a malfunction because we all think we are perfect. What, malfunction in me? Are you kidding me? We don't think that way. We think because it's hovering, it must mean something. There must be a message that has to do with my gender is changing. No, it could be anything of thought sort that is not in line with your values, and it could still stay there because caudate nucleus is not doing its job. That is when you come to understand the brilliant psychologists, psychotherapists, and people who spend their life on research, such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, and so on. They teach us how to use certain systems and certain procedures to rewire the malfunctioning brain through neuroplasticity. For example, Dr. Schwartz has the 4 steps, which have had a video on it and explain all the 4 steps and how you go through it, interpret it for you. They relabel, reframe, refocus, and revalue, and then what they're involved, what they mean, and how to continuously, every time these thoughts, intrusive thoughts show up, to apply the 4 steps to be able to rewire your brain. Brain can be conditioned like anything else. The more you do of something, the more the brain becomes conditioned to do that something very good. Like when you want to play piano, the more practice you do, the better you become. Because the more practice you do, the synaptic neurons create a connection where they can pass along the neurotransmitters, and they create bridges. So these neurotransmitters between the two ends of the synaptic neurons can pass through, and you become expert in that what you've been practicing so much of, like piano playing. And the reverse of it is also correct. So in this example, if you are constantly ruminating on the images and on these thoughts that they show up, why they show up, how do they dare, what does that mean, and you want to destroy it, and you spend more time and interaction with those intrusive thoughts, what you're doing, you're actually allowing to program and conditioning to the brain to continue analyzing and focusing, interacting and spending time and paying attention to these thoughts, which is just like you're continuing playing piano over and over, which makes you very good at playing piano. And this ruminating and paying attention and wondering and worrying about it and interpreting the bullshit makes you be very good at constantly automatically spending time and attention to these thoughts. And the brain learns that you want it to make more thoughts. Not that you want it, but the signal to the brain when you pay so much attention to it, it's like an exercise of the piano notes. It builds bridges between the synaptic neurons for this to take more of the production that the brain does. But just like the piano playing, when you don't play for a while, you stop training, then there is a mechanism in the brain that is called the glial cells. Glial cells go on a scavenging at nighttime when you sleep. When you sleep, the brain shrinks about to 60%. So it opens road for these glial cells to go and find the bridges, the synaptic neurons, the bridges between synaptic neurons that are not being used to make you good at something. For example, if you don't play piano for a while, at night times, they go and find the synaptic neurons that they were made for you to program yourself to play good piano. They build bridges for the neurotransmitters to pass through the information about how to be good in playing piano, and you had become good in playing piano. They will find those bridges and recognize that they're not being used because you haven't played piano for so long. So they mark that with CQ1 protein, and the microglial cells, when they mark that with CQ1 protein, they go and destroy it. So those synaptic neurons that had bridges built between the two ends become free, so you can use them to become good at something else. In other words, when you don't play piano, because of this mechanism that I just explained so briefly to you, there's a lot more to it, but explain so briefly to you, these mechanisms make you no longer be good at playing piano because you didn't play it so long, and they want to preserve the ability and make available the synaptic neurons for you to use them for something else. Therefore, they go and destroy those bridges that made you very good in playing piano. So you can now use it to become good at something else, playing guitar or tennis or something else. So whatever you practice a lot, when they used to say practice makes perfect, they really meant when you practice, these synaptic neurons are created, the bridges are created, and you become good at it because you're conditioning the brain to do this. So now, when you don't practice the piano, you are not as good as you used to be. Same thing. When you keep thinking and paying attention to these intrusive thoughts, you become very good at paying attention and having intrusive thoughts being created more and more. When you don't and use Dr. Schwartz's principles and 4 steps and all the other psychologists, experts, suggestions and recommendations how to deal and manage with intrusive thoughts, then you're actually, in fact, are taking your attention away from it, from the piano playing, from these thoughts that they show up, and therefore you create a condition where the brain gets a signal that there's no attention or interaction coming from this production of mine, the brain thinks. Therefore, it learns and is conditioned to stop making them. That's how you rewire your brain. So the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz is very necessary for you to deal with OCD and OCD subsets, such as HOCD and other OCD subsets. So, having said that, what you need to do is to allow thoughts to be there, apply the 4 steps, and I'm going to put the link for you here, so you will simply rewire the brain and recondition the brain from making more of these thoughts because of your attention to making less of these thoughts because of your lack of attention. So you allow thoughts to exist just as you allow things to exist in the world, but you find your own pathway. Allowing something to exist doesn't mean you agree with it. It just means that, well, okay, whatever. It's there. Okay, what does it do? I just pass by and focus on what I want to focus, which is the third step of Dr. Schwartz, which is refocus. Now, you will find it. Let me put that video for you up here so you will be able to choose it and use it. And there we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. 4 steps. Here we go. It's a 21-minute and 38-second video, but it's very informative. I have discussed Dr. Schwartz's 4-step in there step by step and explained it as he had explained it himself, but I just elaborated on it. So here it is. And you should have it by now. Okay, I hope that answers your question. That was the first question, but you say, yeah, for example, when I look at my mom, the thought itself doesn't show up, but the memory of the sexual intrusive, yeah, it doesn't matter. Is there a way to do? Yeah, no. You don't need to delete the memory. If the less you pay attention to it, the memory will be deleted automatically. I also have another video that I'm going to put up here for you guys, for the ones who are interested how to delete the memory. And it explains the mechanism that I explained to you in more detail for you to know exactly. Delete memory. Here it is. This video is called How to Delete Your Memory. In fact, it just teaches you the mechanism of automatic deletion of memory or things that we actually don't use, which was what I explained, but this is a detailed version of it. So here you are. I think that will help you out. And remember, you guys, I'm not sure if I'm sure I'm not exaggerating when I say you don't hear these sort of discussions on any other channel on YouTube. So I want you to be mindful of this channel and promote it. As it helps you here, it can help many other people. But we are still unknown. 12, 13 years after, in regards to breakups and how to move on and so on, and what the role of the psyche in the emotional hardship. And then few years after all these discussions about OCD and OCD subsets and so on, we're still only about 26,000 subscribers. It should be 2.6 million, as far as I'm concerned. This channel is very valuable, very helpful, lots of good information. I want you guys to take responsibility and help this channel to grow, which is to help the mankind, the people who are around the world, like yourselves, don't have access to that information, or psychology, psychotherapists, and so on and so forth, so they can benefit from this at the comfort of their home. But I need you guys to take some responsibility. As you can see, I do all these from my heart. I spend lots of time with people who actually don't have any money. And I do that for them for free. This is not to boast about it, but it is to bring your attention that you can be part of this helping the community by promoting the channel. So more people will find out. They come here. There's over 3,000 videos on this channel. And then they will get to know if they can come to the live streams, all free. But then, of course, if they wanted to know more and have a discussion privately with me, they can go on my site, mind@6truth.com, and make an appointment with me for us to discuss what's concerning you, them one-on-one on Skype. So there are possibilities for everybody. You guys help other people to benefit from the channel without costing you or them anything. And the ones who want more, they are welcome to make an appointment, and the channel will be supported through the services. So we can survive. because economics are very important. As much of a good heart that I have, I need to be seeing exposure so people can actually benefit from what we do, and then we also can support the channel. All right, let me put this here. That's the site. So I think we took care of Thomas. We go to Go Fast Clad 97. All right. So sometimes I feel attracted to men and my father, their sexual thoughts. Does this mean anything? No, it just means same thing. The brain does its own thing. Intrusive thoughts show up, and that's when the caudate nucleus is malfunctioning, OCD glitches there, and so the same story. Don't you worry about it. Muhammad says, hello, Mehran. Mehran Daddy. Okay, thank you for that. Says, I'm 20, male HOCD sufferer, including all OCD subsets. Oh, okay. Congratulations. You're like me. Muhammad says, I feel like my dad. I feel you like my dad. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. And Adam says, a week since your last live stream, and I'm starting to manage the HOCD thoughts, false attractions, loss of attractions, etc. And I'm getting through my condition, getting milder. Mm-hmm. But one of the problems right now I see here is that you're having a meter running, gauging. Is it less? Is it more? That itself is attention. The whole idea is to understand that these things it's irrelevant to you, unrelated to you, and it's a separate system that is creating this because your awareness sees the contradiction with the thoughts and images and suggestions. Why, you say? Well, very simple. The fact that you're talking about it, you realize and recognize that there is something that is not in line with your values. That means there is a contradiction between the brain suggestions and your awareness. In other words, you're not the brain and brain is not you. You're the awareness, you're you, and the brain is functioning within you, and your awareness recognizes the contradiction between what the brain is suggesting and what your values and image of you and your lifestyle and your preferences are. Your choices and vetoes see clearly the contradiction between what the brain suggests and what you're all about. That by itself tells you that none of these thoughts have anything to do with you. Because if it did, you wouldn't even notice it, that there's something different. Why? Because I have no notice of anything contradictory when a thought of anything that I always did, my lifestyle comes to my mind. Like, I'm a heterosexual. Yes, I'm a heterosexual. No, there's no contradiction. There's no question. But when there's something not in line with my value, then I, say, oh, this, what is it? That doesn't feel right. What is this? The fact that you have this ability to see the contradiction and you notice it and you question, all of that simply tells you there's nothing wrong and nothing has nothing to do with you. It's like your eyes can see something that is not in the right place out there. It notices that. And that means that is not in line with the design that you would have done on that particular venue or whatever it was. Contradiction. You can see it. The brain can also see because you are you and you're aware of who you are. And intrusion is clear to you. The fact that it is showing the intrusion to you, you're capable and easily notice the intrusion, that means it is not you. Because if it was you, you wouldn't even notice. That would be you. You don't notice you, you notice what is not you. Hence, all of these are just glitch of the brain, and you shouldn't pay too much attention to it. Only learn what it is, recognize it, use the 4 steps, and how to manage it and rewire. Help. This is yours, your responsibility to help it get back to its default setting. Just like when your knee hurts, you do things to heal it. Your liver, your kidney, you do things, herbal remedies, this and then doctors, you get it fixed because you're responsible to help it so it can function as it's designed to function for you. This brain is also an apparatus, an organ. You need to help it to be at its optimal functioning as it's designed for you. So when it's not, don't think it's you, it's not you, it's an organ. So now help it. So help it to rewire itself, and that's what your mission is. And how it's done, it's not by paying attention to what it does, it's to rewiring it, helping it what it is designed to do for you. All right. Let's move on to Adam says, I want to say I'm not struggling, but at least I'm not suffering. Ah, good for you. See, there's no suffering when you realize that this is something that is within your capability to recognize. And once you recognize it, it's the jig is up. Once you recognize it's a malfunction, once you recognize that it's not in line with your values, not in line with your choices, not in line with your preferences, then you apply the 4 steps. You refocus to something positive that is in line with your values, as simple as drinking tea or listening to music or some activity, enjoying. You change the energy of spending on this topic so it won't condition it further or promote to condition it further to produce these things, and you switch the focus to something else at the 3rd step of the Dr. Schwartz 4 step. And then the brain does the rest, which is reevaluating it. I've explained in that video that I put the link for you. You can watch it, and then you can see what I'm really trying to say. And Go Fast Clad says, if we are not gay and they are just thoughts, why do we feel attracted to men? Could it be by no. I explained that in my previous live stream, and it's a lengthy explanation again. The brain does associations in nanoseconds. So when you see another guy, another man, the suggestion that you're paying so much attention to is a suggestion that you're not supposed to pay attention to, but you pay attention to. So the brain goes into association of what that is. For example, you see someone wearing a tank top. In your brain, the association of naked or muscle is with sex because you wanted to have big muscles to perform better with girls. You get naked and you always understand when people get naked, they want to have sex, unless they want to take a shower. At least you know why you take your clothes off, because you maybe are with your girlfriend or something. So all these images are associations. So naked sex, that's how the brain sees naked sex. So when you see a big muscle, some guy, and you know that you use your big muscle to be more sexy to girls, so that same idea, it transfers to when you see somebody with big muscles. Big muscle, sex, because you always thought of the same thing here. Why do you go to the gym? You want to be good looking, fit, so when you can serve your girlfriend better. You can be a, the rest of it. So your understanding of all these, it superimposes on what you see and you interpret it the same. That association takes in the brain in nanoseconds. You're not aware of it. And then the arousal could take place, which is not an arousal for the guy, it's arousal for the concept of sex that the brain sees naked sex. And the sex in your brain is according to what is sex for you with a woman. So that what you arousal you see or whatnot is not about what you actually saw. It's about what you saw is been associated with the brain with the concept of sex. Now, when you see a guy that its suggestion in the brain is that you like it, that's OCD, HOCD. It's not separate from the HOCD. HOCD is causing that thought and suggestion in your brain. It's not separate that you say, okay, uh, the thought, why do we feel attracted to men? You don't feel attracted. You have a thought of HOCD, and the thought creates a feeling because the body is heavily influenced by the brain's suggestion. Your job is to understand that this feeling coming from the suggestion of the brain, which is going through malfunction of HOCD. The thought creates the feeling, and I can prove it to you. The thought creates a feeling, and the thought and the feeling can also create that reaction in the body, which has nothing to do with truth and actuality. For example, if you close your eyes and imagine you are part of a group visiting France, the tour guide's taking all of you to a vineyard. It's out of season. Vineyard has no ripe grapes. All grapes on the vineyard, on the vines, are all green, hard and green. They're sour like hell because they haven't been ripened yet. He gives every bunch of you, every one of you, a bunch of these green sour grapes, and everybody bites into it. And that sourness, so holy, it's so sour. And then he gives you each a cut of lime, and you squeeze the lime in your mouth. And holy macaroni, you are already salivating, but there is no green grape here. There is no lime here. Why is your body creating saliva in your mouth when there is no actuality of the sour grape or anything else? Because the thought and imagination ordered the brain, because brain doesn't understand virtuality or actuality. Brain has no ability to know what's actuality, what that's why you can feel anything by just putting virtual goggle on, and you can react to it. Your body then is under the control of the brain and is influenced heavily by the brain. So when the brain thinks it's a lime or it's a sour grape, it makes the body react to it, and the saliva is coming. So when the brain thinks that it's sexual, the connotation and the association with sex, muscle, good looks, naked, sex, and association of it goes to the concept of sex for you. And then you get certain kind of a feeling or arousal. But it's not an arousal to that guy. It's not a feeling to that guy. It's a feeling that the brain suggested, and the brain can influence the brain. And you suddenly then question, because you don't have enough information, how all these connections are happening. You think, oh my goodness, I must be gay or bi. Brain fools you when you think of brain as sane. Brain is an organ, is an apparatus. That's all. There's no intelligence in there. All right. All right, go fast. I hope that's a good explanation for you to understand what's happening. Adam says, however, there are some things that take me by surprise. Sometimes false attraction don't go away, and some, yeah, it's not the false attraction doesn't go away. It's a thought that doesn't go away, which can induce the attraction because it's going through the glitch of HOCD. Capiche? All right. Muhammad, I just answered that question. Why HOCD feels so real and any kind of OCD feels so real? Because the brain doesn't understand the virtuality and actuality. So to it is actuality. So it acts as if it's actuality and makes the body react as if it's actuality. And then you take that reaction of the body as an evidence that the thought is correct. It's a holy bullshit. It's a circle. False into false. It's a malfunctioning brain that you're using to justify and understand what the malfunction is all about. It's already malfunctioning. So your judgment is going to be fucking malfunction too. So just let it rest and try to use the mechanisms that has been suggested to rewire your brain to bring the malfunctioning of the signaling system of the brain back to its default setting. And then all these fall. Your understanding of the relationship between brain and body can help you to see why you get reactions in the body when the thoughts show up, rather than thinking, because I have a reaction in the body, therefore the thought is accurate. No, the brain has that influence and control to make body react to what it thinks and feel what it thinks. Not that the fact that you feel or react, your body feels certain way or your body ends up reacting a certain way is an evidence that the thought or the image was correct. No. You fuckheads. I had to say that. It pisses me off that you guys simply believe you're so fucking gullible that your own brain can fuck you up, let alone other people out there. Jesus. Hopefully you're getting to be wise on that. All right. And we have the roasting home. Says, suffering from harm OCD and thought or come about death sometimes. When I recover, so I weak. What? When I recover, so I weak, I ignore my thought. Then I listen music and I sing song. So OCD will increase. And when I ignore them. Okay. I'm a little bit lost in the English here, the way you put the sentence, but I think I get the gist of it. So they told if you ignore this, something bad happened to you. No. Brain has no power whatsoever to make any image or thought or suggestions to ever come true. It's the biggest fake after what the politicians in the world and the governments are doing, the fake news and all the bullshit that they've put us through. The brain is the biggest fake that is there when it glitches into malfunctioning mode. Thummer Man says, hello, how can we feel confident on being a man and a good father even when your wife criticizes you a lot? Change the wife. What can you do? You can't shut people's mouth. Just ignore. Listen, there are many, many wonderful, amazing women out there, but there are also few that are just crazy. And they're always antagonizing something constantly. The fact that they think if they antagonize you and put you down, it makes them look higher because they have no ability to, on their own, make themselves elevate through their actions and behavior and accomplishments in life. And the easiest thing to have the tallest building in the city is to destroy all other buildings. So that's what some people do. They don't have the ability to build their own, keep building to be a tallest building. They just feel it's easier to destroy other buildings. So some people do the same thing. They keep putting other people down, their husband, their boyfriend, or their wife, or their children, or their colleagues, whatever, because that's their only way to make the others feel that they're somebody, because actually they're not. So that is a shortcoming of your wife. She constantly puts you down. It wouldn't affect your manhood because your manhood is not dependent on her views, opinions, and expectations. Your manhood is only supported by you and encouraged and elevates, and you get more confidence by your efforts and actions towards your duties, responsibilities, goals, and plans and aspirations in life. Not about who says, oh, you're great, so I'm great. Oh, you're shitty, oh, I'm shitty. And then I'm like a yo-yo, depending on what people know. It's based on your integrity about your duties to your family, to yourself, to whatever it is under your responsibility. And your efforts and accomplishments tells you who you are. If you're lazy or if you're a person who means well and is doing what it takes to bring to fruition the results that you're looking for and hoping for and striving for. The rest of it, anybody can say anything to. Today is a wife, tomorrow is the teacher, the other day is another one. You can't be like oscillating by the people's opinion about yourself. So you can simply hear from this ear and direct it to come out of this ear. And that's it. Don't let it stay there. SNG says, hello, General. Oh, that must be Sid from Manchester. Says, male 35, Manchester. Says, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well once again. All thanks to you. Well, delighted to hear that. Thank you for sharing. Says, just have a stupid question, perhaps out of my sensitive nature. I'm kind of forgetting Lauren now and moving on. Feels sad to forget her, as I like her, but as the French say, c'est la vie. Yeah, well, why does it have to feel sad? I don't have any more mandarin. Why should I feel sad? I go get another mandarin. I go to the store. So, nothing in this world is permanent. Suffering starts when you try to turn impermanent to permanent. The expectation of things to be permanent in life is the roots of all problems. Some of our problems are emotional problems because it's contrary to the actuality of the world. The venue that we live in this world, in this life, itself, the whole entirety of this venue, this journey of life is temporary. Yet in this temporary venue, you want to find a permanent situation. My love to be permanent, my father never dies, which that I wish that was true because I love him so much and I miss him so much. His picture is on my wall. I couldn't stop that. If I can't stop that, what is most important to us, how can you expect that forgetting Lorraine would be sad? Okay, so big fucking deal. That's a small part of this whole fucking fiasco of life. You can handle, God forbid, if your parents die. You have handled if your grandparents have already died. But you're sad because you forget some friend or some relationship. Is that what you want to hear? Or you want me to beat you on the head with the ugly stick now? So, don't try to turn impermanent to permanent. That's where the suffering starts. Everything has a duration in life. Your friendship with Lorraine had a duration. It ran its duration, the experience. That's what you need to learn, not the fact that I'm sad that I'm forgetting that. No. Be happy the fact that you had the experience that you could only have it with that situation. And you learn from it, take that away. That you cannot forget. Whether you remembered or not, that experience and the know-how and the negotiation and what you went through the whole relationship, it's part of your now management skills and resources that without your knowledge, you will be unleashing it to other situations as you go through life. That's something to cheer about. So while you think you're forgetting about the person, but the part of the experience of that relationship with that person has become engraved in your value judgments and how to deal with other situations as they arise in this journey of life. Now, go celebrate. Forgetting somebody because you're not forgetting the essence of the relationship and the lessons. You're forgetting the entity, which is really not what you had the relationship with. You had the relationship with the interactions, with the judgments, with the situations, with the energy, and that all has become part of you, not the entity. That was just a figure. All right, let's go and get all heavy. And we go on to Muhammad says, I promote your channel to 300 people, OCD Indian WhatsApp group. Thank you. That's very good. Promote the channel, and also they can figure out the site, or you can also promote the site. That's very good. But don't limit to just Indian friends. Anywhere that it can be broadcasted would be great. And thank you for that, Muhammad. And Adam says, very good point. I see it as if such thoughts about me were true, I wouldn't care. Yeah, there you go. I have another theory. Okay. You should make, Thomas says you should make a video explaining of your OCD and how you overcome. Oh, since childhood, I had so many OCD. I didn't even know it's an OCD. I just thought something I got to do. Wash my hands 100 times. Touch the wall. Turn the light switch off and on. Say goodnight to my parents 50 times. I remember. Good night, Mom. Good night. Oh, I got to say one more time because then something bad might happen. Good night. And they're all sleeping. I said, maybe I should say one more time. Good night. We're sleeping now. Of course, they were kind of sweet and nice about it. But I can see all that is all because of the psychological insecurity, as I explained it once before in one of the older videos, OCD roots in psychological security. We are very insecure beings, and we are looking for permanency. And that permanency, for example, we love our life, we love our parents, the room that we sleep in, the food that we have, the comfort that we have as a child. And with everything that you love, there is a fear of losing it. So as a child, we are frightened. What if my father dies? What if my mother dies? What if I don't have this place? What if I don't have this food? All these are concerns that disturbs our seemingly attained psychological security. And since we have no way of securing that security, we rely on dealing with some watcher, some fictitious, made up watcher, a wisdom somewhere, because we need that. What we need, we human beings create, even if it's not true. So we as a child try to deal with that watcher, that fictitious power that we rely on to bring permanency to this, whatever we love, our life. And somehow the glitch in the brain says if you turn the light switch on 3 times, it'll be an even number, or not even number, but it's odd number. And then it would balance things out and things will be okay. It's like the doubting disease, as we all know. OCD is a doubting disease. So in order to recover that doubt, you do certain weird things, like, going over the 4 corners of a tile when you're walking. It has to be done. Why? I don't even fucking know. But it makes me feel secure. So it's all about getting that security, dealing with some unknown power, so my father would not die, my mother would not die, the ones that I love would be protected. Because I don't have the power to protect them, but I want to protect them. So I do anything, hit my head to the wall a few times, maybe wash my hands. It's dirty. Oh, I don't want to give this dirt as a bacteria to some place in the home that I love. I don't want to be responsible for them to get sick. Responsibility OCD. All of these are rooted in the lack of psychological security, which is the very thing that is never attained, but forever and ever we pursue it. And through this pursuing it, we go nuts and crazy, do weird things, stupid things, because the brain has the power to make you think that if you do this, it'll be okay. Everything will be fine and things will work the way you want, which is all bullshit. But why is it? The problem is that we believe our thoughts. That's a problem. When the brain creates some bullshit, that itself can be handled. But the fact that we believe the bullshit, and believing, like religiosity, believing something, it's about a certain real estate of the brain, the neurons and neurotransmitters, few of them, and the gene called the VMAT2, VMAT2, which is responsible for believing into something. So this whole particular mechanism of the gene, the real estate of the neurons and the neurotransmitters, the combination of the VMAT2 gene causes us to believe in something, even though that something fucking doesn't exist. We need to be aware of this so we won't believe what the brain conjures up. Because once we believe that shit, then we think the principle and the suggestion of the brain is actually reputable or credible. But it's not. What makes the thought, the bullshit thought of the brain, credible is our problem in the fact of believing it. The VMAT2 gene and the neurotransmitters and the neurons and so on. So we got to be aware that what we believe is what regulates our actions. And we should be very careful and focused on what we believe is a brain's material process, which has no factuality to it. But we have the need to believe it because we are looking to protect something that is beyond our ability to protect. So we believe it that if I touch that light switch a few times, my father will be saved because I love my father and I'm a child. I have no other way. So I make believe. And this make believe conditions my brain to be more susceptible to believing the more bullshit that the brain makes out of nowhere. Because I'm not the brain, brain is not me, its own fucking rules and malfunctions, and I'm oblivious to it as a kid. That's why I want you guys not to be oblivious and to understand how this bullshit works. All right, it was too scientific, especially the ending of the bullshit. So let's move on to. All right. And we have Mark here. Says 39 UK. I've been divorced 7 years and have rebuilt my life again. Congratulations. Excellent. I have my own place again with a mortgage, and my ex wife now wants me to have our eldest son full time. He's 13 and is autistic. Mark says, for some reason, this is giving me huge anxiety, and I don't know why. I love my son and I want him to live with me, but it's going to be hard as a single man who works full time. Mark continues, I feel I have a calling to do this, but I also know that most of my time will be working and being a full time single dad with no opportunity to meet a new partner or socialize. Hmm. I see your dilemma. You're 37 years old. You've been probably don't have a girlfriend right now, so you're not in a relationship. And having such responsibility after 7 years of free time and building your life, having your own schedule, seems somewhat crippling in the pathway that you were traveling. That time, free available time, has been the elixir of your life. You were able to put things back together and build a life that was somehow changed. I don't know what the story was, whose fault it was, and whatnot, but let's say it was mutual. What is the trade off? You are a father. A father's job doesn't end when you withdraw from your wife's vagina. That's your son. You love him. Your trade off would be one day when he's older, You look back and say, I had nothing to do with who he has become. Or you turn around and say, I sacrificed a few pussies, didn't have a girlfriend now and then or continuous. They shied away from me because I have this son who was autistic. They didn't want to be part of my life, and I most time didn't have the girl I wanted. But I am a good father. I raised a son who's strong and had the best chance I could give him. That would be your legacy. You know what to do. In the short run, companions and the pussies and girlfriend, this and that, they come and go. Your son is forever. You will find time to also have some time, make arrangement with your ex-wife that there would be certain times that she would take over for a day or 2 days or some vacation time that you want to have, and it'll be fine. But the most important asset in your life, biggest investment of your life, is your son, not your dick, not the pussies. Their pleasure. They come and go. Your son is a life worth spending, investing, paying attention to. The best solution would be 50-50, because your son needs the mother's attention as well. This business of full time, because she is probably trying to get rid of him, to have some blow to come and, I don't know, have a relationship with, or whatever else. I don't know the full extent of the situation, but soon your son will be 20-year-old and probably under certain care, and I don't know how severe the situation is. I'm not privy to that. Either way, you are the father. Regardless if the mother wants to be irresponsible or suddenly pass the buck, fuck it. You're the man. You take charge. It's more valuable to take care of him if she's not willing to take half of it at least. But you will have your time, free time, make arrangement. And make sure it's 50-50, because the child needs the mother as well. So both of you should be involved. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that. So what do we have here? Um, I think it's about the expression of the vineyard and the sour grapes. Go fast says, I felt it in my mouth. Yeah, it's true. Steven is here. He says, hello, Mehran. Steven, male 42, Los Angeles. Hello, Steven. Says, I messed up by not getting out of bed and laid there thinking of her. Jesus Christ. I swear if you were here in this town, I would just get up there with the ugly stick and beat the fuck out of your head. You're crazy. You're fucking crazy. Deliberately, you're fucking up, destroying your good life for a pussy. That's all she had. And not a good one either. An ugly pussy. I can't help you. As long you have this image of this fuckhead looking shit is the greatest thing ever happened to you, you are fucked. Because you have believed a lie. And you're so fucking lazy that you don't want to do anything about it by going out, meeting all those amazingly beautiful, wonderful women out in Los Angeles. And you're stuck with some shriveled fuck shit out of a vine tree. Instead of looking at what is hanging on the vine, you're thinking about, it's a vine. Yeah, but it's got shit hanging from it. And you are thirsty for that. There's something wrong with your taste. Go on, Steve. Go on, appreciate what you've accomplished in this life, what you've learned. Value yourself, respect yourself. Go find some decent, beautiful girls out there. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't think I would smash that ugly stick on your head. I'll just shove it up your ass to smarten you up. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know what to do with you. I've told you, you have created a intrusive OCD habit about this whole business of conditioning your brain to keep thinking about her while you're supposed to wean yourself off of that creation of those desires. You have rewired your brain to desire something that is not living up to your standards, that is not up your values and what you're looking for. But because of continuous ruminating on selective memories, pleasurable memories, you have erased all the shit problems that actually was there. And at a glance, you only see the selective pleasurable memories. That's what has made you think this thing is worth thinking about and ruminating and salivating over, when in fact you're salivating over shit when you look at the whole picture. I don't know why you want something that was torturous and not proper for your life. You've already tried it. You've already been in that relationship. It didn't work. What's the use of ruminating about something that is proven to you that is not worthy of your character and your expectations? Why you ruminate about something that is actually, you've tried it and it wasn't good? It didn't work out. What do you think? Second time thinking would work out? It'll travel the same journey, same path. We will come to the same conclusion. She'll still be the same. No matter how much you ruminate and bring the pleasurable, selective pleasurable part of this relationship, that doesn't change the character of that woman. That woman still going to be the same. Second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. Won't change because she is, let me see a French word for it, a polite way for it. She's fucked up. You can't help it. You are trying to fix her image while her actuality is actually what it is. Fucked up. Who are you serving? Yourself? Or are you the promotion advertising manager for her? She didn't measure up. She was in your life for a good while. She did not measure up. She cheated on you. She left and fucked somebody else and came back. And she kept on telling you, you haven't changed, and always not so appreciative. Only thing is that you're such a fucking beggar for a little bit of attention that a couple of meals she made for you, a couple of hugging and texting made you be a gaga. Look at yourself in the mirror and then beat yourself in the head. Go on, get a life. Because there are worse punishments than the ugly stick shoving up your ass. Be careful. I may go all wacko on you. Kick your ass. Now, don't make me pissed off. Let me go on with my program here. Steven says, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is how to remove the fear of not finding someone else. You fucking A, I've talked about this so many times. That's an impossibility. I don't care what the fear is. Fear is when you compare what it was to what it is or what it could be, but none of it is true. Why don't you just walk the way? Just walk the way instead of being, I'm fearful to walk. What happens through the way? Walk and see what happens. If someone jumped at you, you'll defend yourself. But walk, take a fucking walk. Otherwise, you'll be stuck where you are. You'll never see the other side. Never see what's on the other side of the road. So just stop being fearful, because what's stopping you is not the fear of not finding someone else. It's just being fearful of being fearful. That's why you don't move. Have some balls. Just move on. Talk with other girls. Nothing comes out of this. There is no fear. You cannot help it. You will meet somebody else. It is just a given, because life is a river. It doesn't stop. It keeps having things in the river water coming and moving along with it. And you're bound to bounce in one of or two of them or 10 of them or 100 of them. So it's not up to you. You're fearing of something that you think it's up to you. You will meet someone. Every one of us do. Just not up to you. It's the way of the life. So nothing there to worry about. Jesus, I lived with this girl for almost 2 years, and it's hard to imagine till it happens again. Did you imagine it happening before this 2 years came up, before this girl came along? But it happened, right? So it's got nothing to do with your imagination. It happens whether you imagine it or not. Just continue wanting it. And do your things. Be a tiger. Be a hunter. Look for a hunt. You see a girl you like, it's appropriate time, it's called for, it's not creepy, go talk to her. Hello, my name is Steve. I am actually dying to meet someone. Why? Because I'm still hung up on that piece of shit that was with me for 2 years, and I have got no ability to think anybody else would ever like me. Would you like me? Would you like to go out with me? Well, if you do that, everybody will say no. But if you actually don't say it and say to yourself that I want to be away from that bullshit and I want to be away from the garbage that my brain suggests, I will simply take matters in my own hand. Not that way. Just go on and talk to people as a friend. Don't want to date them. Just talk. Start talking. Sprech. And then you will eventually find things in common with some of them. And then you will build on that. Don't try to make a date in the first round. Don't try to get a sign on the dotted line right away. Don't rush. Just be friends. Stephen. All right, let's move on to. All right, go fast says bravo. Thank you. I don't know for that, but thank you. Muhammad says done promoted to 300 Indian OCD WhatsApp community. Okay, thank you very much. Roasting Home says, sir, when I see someone death or dying, my brain tells me that happens because of you. So I get afraid, and also I used to listen hip hop music, but I observe that when I listen hip hop and sing that song, OCD will increase. Just bullshit. Okay. And in regards to your thinking that someone died is because of you, I want you to think that I will be a millionaire or someone that is going to be a millionaire. And I want you to tell me a week later if that person became millionaire. Because if you have such a power to cause death, for heaven's sake, you have a power to cause birth. You have a power to bring death, to bring to life a dead person. And you have a power to make your grades at school be A plus, or you have a power to become a millionaire in 2 days, or you have a power to have all the hungry people fed in one day. You don't have that power, do you? Then how could you have a power to kill someone or to have a someone death to be you be responsible for that? These are all intrusive thoughts, dear. It's got nothing to do with you. You feel no shame or no responsibility for it. It's not up to you. And all that listening hip hop that increases OCD, it's OCD is there whether you listen to hip hop or whatever else. So don't blame it on anything. These are all bullshit thinking. Just follow that video that I put for you for Dr. Schwartz and learn how to deal and manage OCD. Uh, no, meditation, if it's the right meditation, doesn't create anxiety. Only the people who are thinking that way. Until you learn meditation, and don't do the meditation for purpose, because you're doing meditation. So okay, is it going away? Is it going away? Is it going away? See, I'm doing meditation. So that's why anxiety comes in. But just do meditation because you want to do meditation. Easiest meditation for you is to focus on your breathing. You know, you know how it is. Imagine and feel and follow the movement of oxygen, air into your nostrils. See it. And see it coming out. See, feel, and follow the air coming to your nostril in and accompany it coming out. Stay with it. In, feel it, see it flowing through, see it, feel it flowing outward. So breathe in, see it, stay with it. Breathe out, see the air flowing out, stay with it. So now you're giving a content of thought to a physical movement of meditation. So there is not just a mechanical function, you're actually in thought and body, you're one with the movement of the air into your nostrils and coming out. Breathing in, I'm with it, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it, imagining it. Exhaling, I'm feeling it, seeing it, imagining it, exhaling. Stay with that. And whenever you have anxiety, you do this. You do a long breath and top it with another, and then hold a few seconds and exhale. This is how it looks like. Then breathe normally. So all of you can do that with me. It immediately calms you down. You breathe big and one on top, hold a few seconds, exhale slowly, and when you finish, you breathe normally. Ready? Go. Normally. That's when you notice there is nothing in your head. Thoughts all vanish. Gone. Empty. It's a beautiful feeling. Okay. On that note, I think it's time for me to go. I know there are more people here, but I got to get ready. I got to get ready and do other things and go see my mom at the care center, as I always do from 4 to 6. And so all of you guys can go on my channel and find the videos that you're looking for. Put a word that describes what you're looking for in the search engine of my channel and find the video and enjoy it, or come to live stream next week, or go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment for us to discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. I look forward to our next live stream. Thank you very much for being here. I love you all. Giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mindthatseekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.